WVTT is the news station that brings you news and information that you can depend on. We are first, fast, and accurate, bringing you the only local television news in the Twin Tiers. WVTT, depend on it.
Our first look at weather tonight on WVTT could be one of our first looks at snow flurries, possibility even of 1 to as much as 3 inches of accumulation, especially in the higher elevations.
But that sun could be on its way and could melt whatever accumulation we get.
Absolutely. We'll have complete weather details straight ahead here on WVTT.
Now, WVTT. Global News Update.
Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez is now facing his 3rd round of cancer treatment. Lawmakers in Caracas, the Venezuelan capital, have approved Chavez's request to travel to Havana for medical treatment. Some are questioning whether Chavez is fit to govern. CNN's Patrick Upperman has our story.
Hugo Chavez is once again battling cancer and says that his life is now in the hands of God and his medical team here in Cuba. Chavez took the airwaves on Saturday night in a surprise announcement to say that he is facing his 3rd reoccurrence of the disease. Chavez has already spent weeks this year in Cuba fighting cancer, but before his re-election in October, declared himself to be cancer-free. We still don't know what kind of cancer Chavez has, but his prognosis on Saturday sounded particularly dire. Chavez says he's fighting extreme pain and for the first time named a successor, his vice president, Nicolas Maduro. Maduro is a particularly trusted deputy of Chavez's and once was a bus driver and union leader. He spent years now serving as Chavez's foreign minister. Chavez said if he is incapacitated by cancer and a new election is called, he asked his supporters to rally around Maduro. But it's not clear if Maduro would necessarily succeed Chavez. Chavez remains incredibly popular in Venezuela, but an increasingly united opposition is looking to end the era of Hugo Chavez. Patrick Ottman, CNN, Havana.
It was a prank call that lasted just a few minutes, but the fallout, which included the tragic death of a nurse, continues in Britain and Australia. Almost a week after the call was made to the hospital where Prince William's pregnant wife, the Duchess of Cambridge, was being treated, the Sydney radio presenters who staged the hoax have spoken publicly for the first time. The show that Grieg and Christian hosted has now been taken off the air, and their network says all its presenters are now under orders to stop the prank calls for now. CNN's senior international correspondent Matthew Chance is reporting outside King Edward VII's Hospital in London.
The radio station, or the company that owns the radio station in Sydney rather, has launched its own investigation. They've suspended all future prank calls pending that investigation while they look into what actually went wrong on this occasion. You also mentioned they've cancelled the radio show that these 2 DJs hosted for several years, and they've also, of course, with mutual agreement, suspended the 2 individuals concerned. The 2 DJs who made the prank call, you heard them speak there, absolutely devastated, shattered in their words, about the tragic consequences of the prank call that they had absolutely no idea would result in the apparent suicide of the nurse that put them through to the ward where Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, was being treated for severe morning sickness. Both of the DJs are receiving counselling themselves, not least because of the news, but also because of the threats and the negative comments that they've been receiving from around the world on their social media pages and on entries on Facebook saying things like, you've got blood on your hands. It's having a big impact on them as well. And they spoke with raw emotion to those Australian television networks earlier today. Take a listen.
Shattered, gutted, heartbroken, and obviously, our deepest sympathies are with the family and the friends of all those affected. And, obviously, Mel and myself are incredibly sorry for the situation and what's happened. And we hope that they're doing okay and they're getting the love and support that they deserve and need right now. But, I mean, personally, I'm...
Obviously, Michael Christian there, one of the DJs, very emotional as he described his feelings when he heard the news of the apparent suicide of the nurse who transferred the call. The radio station, for its part, continues to express its regret, but also says it doesn't believe its DJs did anything legally wrong. It's taken them off the air, as we've said, and has launched this investigation. But a spokeswoman for the station has said that, you know, there's a lot of emphasis. There's almost a witch hunt underway for these DJs involved, and there's not enough emphasis on what else was happening, what pressure perhaps the hospital may have put on the nurse before she apparently took her own life.
More tragedy for the National Football League, and this time it involves the Dallas Cowboys football family. One team member died in a horrific accident. Another team member charged in the death. Our Andrew Spencer has the story.
Dallas Cowboys nose tackle Josh Brent was released from jail Sunday on $500,000 bond. He was arrested after a fiery car crash early Saturday that killed his teammate Jerry Brown, who was a passenger in Brent's car.
Appears as if he was traveling at a high rate of speed, at which time his vehicle touched or impacted the outside curb of the service road, causing his vehicle to flip at least one time.
Irving, Texas police say the car traveled about 900 feet after hitting the curb. They arrested the 24-year-old Brent on suspicion of intoxication manslaughter.
Our officers on scene felt as if alcohol was a contributing factor in the accident.
Dallas Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett says Brown's death is taking an emotional toll on the team.
We lost a 25-year-old young man who had his whole life in front of him, a teammate, a friend, and it's a real tragedy.
Garrett says this is a very difficult time for Brent as well.
Josh and Jerry were really close. They were close in college at Illinois, and there was no one more excited in our organization than when we signed Jerry Brown. Josh was jumping up and down.
Brent pleaded guilty to a DUI charge back in 2009, according to court records in Champaign, Illinois. He was given a 60-day sentence, a fine, and 200 hours of community service. I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
An update on Wall Street. Let's take a look at the WVTT Wall Street Wrap-Up. It's presented by News Radio 96.7 WVTT. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed up 15 at 13,170. NASDAQ gained 9 points to close at 2987. And the S&P 500 up a fraction to close at 1419. Still to come on the 6 o'clock report, WVTT Sports, our community calendar, and our full weather forecast. It's straight ahead here on News Channel 25, WVTT.